India got off to the best possible start in World Cup qualification with a crucial away win over Kuwait. But the real question is, can they go again against a far stronger opposition in Qatar? What did Matchday 1 tell us about India and India's opponents today? Well, let's start with their opponents, Qatar. Matchday 1 taught us nothing. They played against an Afghanistan side who are without a number of first-team players who are, of course, striking. That's a separate issue that may affect India later on in the group stages. But, of course, Qatar, a huge goal difference advantage. 8-1 they won, so +7 for them. The best possible start, arguably. They'll be looking to make it 2 wins from 2 because that should basically cement what is already reasonably cemented World Cup round 3 for Qatar. They're the strongest side in this group. India on paper, and particularly now after the first matchday result, the second strongest side. So if Qatar can win this match, they'll be in the driving seat that they were already in, but they'll be in it a bit more, if that makes sense. But from an India perspective, a lot of the hard work, arguably already done in beating Kuwait away from home. Of course, Kuwait slightly lower in the FIFA World Rankings, but a solid outfit, to be honest. I like what I've seen from Kuwait in the past. We've seen them play at more and more tournaments recently, and it's a great win. You know, 1-0, it's a win, and it is a win. It doesn't matter how or by how many. And India can walk away knowing that if they repeat that result at home against Kuwait, it's all in their own hands. Not to say that this match doesn't matter and invalidate the entire point of this video, but I think the reason why I'm recording a preview for this Qatar game is I don't think that this is actually a full-gone conclusion. I think before the international break, when we did our preview, we said we think that Qatar will win the group, India will come second. We're on track at the moment. But I think that India can maybe do something here that people aren't expecting in this game. Qatar they've not gained anything from that Afghanistan win other than the 3 points. They've not been able to really work on any tactics or any setup that would benefit them in this game. Whereas India come into this not just having a tough test against Kuwait, but overcoming it and actually getting the 3 points. And they come into this with, they don't need to win. You know, if they'd have lost or drawn to Kuwait, they'd have needed a result in this game. They don't. A defeat here is okay. And that loosens the reins a little bit and will allow Stimac and the side to, I think, try and cause an upset here. We've seen from African World Cup qualification that upsets are very possible. And if you take Nigeria's home draw with Lesotho as a barometer for the gap between two sides that can still result in a draw, if you set up right, India should be confident that a draw is at least a draw is on the cards for this game. Will it be easy? No. Do I expect Qatar to still be favourites in most people's books? Yes. But I know from some of the stuff that we've posted on the channel and some of the interaction that we've had back that there's a lot of confident India fans out there. Maybe not for World Cup qualification, but definitely progression to round 3. And that confidence is only building. And I feel like with the crowd on side, and I say this many times, the longer it stays 0-0, the more of a chance that India, the slight underdogs in this game, have a chance against Qatar. I've seen Qatar play enough to know that they're not world beaters. They're not an impossible side to get a result against. Of course, they're very good. But I think for India, this game, if nothing else, is a benchmark for progress. How far has Indian football come across the last few years? How far has it come since the last round of World Cup qualification? Can you compete with a side like Qatar? As I've said already, I don't think that this game is the be-all and end-all in this group. You just have to beat Afghanistan and Kuwait. Of course, the Afghanistan game might be trickier than Kuwait's game against Afghanistan. And Kuwait, after this match day, could end up above India if they beat Afghanistan and overcome the goal difference turnaround. Unless it's done on head-to-head. Someone let me know if it's done on head-to-head. Probably done on goal difference, though. But you play each other twice. Anyway, there's a fair chance that India could be third off this game, but you've got Afghanistan to play. Should win, even if it's a full-strength Afghanistan side. So just really give it a go, I think. I think I'd like to see a similar setup because ultimately it worked. I thought it was good use of substitutions in the game against Kuwait. I really like KP Rahul. So I'd like to see him get more minutes. I think particularly if it's more of a counter-attacking player, I think that his dynamism and pace could be really beneficial. Chetri's a phenomenal forward. We've used him in the thumbnail because he's Sunil Chettri. And of course, he's got all these records. This might not be the best game for him to play a part because of his style of play. I say that now. He could easily score a hat-trick. But I feel like a slight shift in tactics for the Qatar game. Not that I just want you to give up all of the ball and try and hit on the counter-attack, but there needs to be the right kind of balance. I don't think there's going to be that many sort of opportunities for a slow, progressive build-up and pop it to Chettri to pop it in at the end. But I'm not suggesting you necessarily bench him because that's a very, very brave managerial decision. But I think that there needs to be other focal points, particularly if it's a fast-paced counter-attacking game. He can get on the end of chances, but I don't see him as sort of part of that orchestration piece. But I do feel like there's a real opportunity for India here. We've spoken about it with some of the teams that are deemed the underdogs. I don't think that the difference between India and Qatar in FIFA World Rankings, 40 places, what is that? Nothing really. If you look at some of the sides between, you got, I would back India at this current state to potentially beat China. China are 79th in the world rankings. You have to take the world rankings with a pinch of salt. Outside of Australia, who are the top sides? Australia, Korea, Iran, and Japan, of course, in Asia. Outside of that, I think it's anyone's game. When you get to the likes of India, I think you can really compete. And what does success look like? I think a point would be phenomenal here. And I think that would really set, that would just devastate Kuwait, wouldn't it, if you managed to get a point here? But that's got to be the goal, to know that when you host Kuwait, they have to beat you to progress, has to be the goal. Because if there's any sort of area of doubt or you leave it slightly open for Kuwait to come and maybe only need a draw or anything like that, then there's always a chance for them. But this is going to be a great game. I'm really looking forward to this one. India against Qatar. What World Cup qualification is all about. Can India pull off something phenomenal, make it 2 wins from 2 maybe, or even take a draw away? Get your comments down. What do you think the outcome's going to be? What kind of style of play do you want to see? You'll know a lot more about the ins and outs of the team than I do, so get your comments down below. And of course, how far do you think this India team can go? I've had lots of people in the comments say round 3 maybe this time. Some people confident of World Cup qualification. So you let me know in the comments. And if you don't already, like and subscribe, all that stuff, as you know, great for us. We appreciate you. Best of luck, India fans, for this game. And we will see you next time.